And hello, and welcome to everyone. Hello, Space Fiends, I am Commander Yannick. And here we are, on this, the same planet as I was on last time, actually, Oddy-sea Alpha, to be completely honest. It's nice and good looking anyway, with these sort of weird cactuses and shrubs. And you've got the nice blue sky, but as you can tell, investigating the slightly suspect sampling device. I think that's probably a good way of putting it, the slightly suspect sampling device. Because this has not become a very popular thing amongst the elite community generally, whatever section they are, PvP, Explorer or otherwise. This is like, well, what is this supposed to really be doing? You know, it doesn't really have a technical kind of scientific angle to it. And it doesn't really seem to have that much of a sort of good gameplay angle to it. So what is it actually for? I mean, like many people, I'm always about, constructive criticism, but it's sort of inexplicable, this, really. I mean, I know what to do in terms of the gameplay, but it's like a sort of, how do I describe it? Like a sort of weird sub-slot machine kind of game, like a sort of hackneyed only digital version of a slot machine game. It's hard to describe that, how sort of underwhelming it feels. It just feels a bit sort of like an afterthought rather than something that's actually been thought through. Now, some bits of this, in all fairness, of this whole Oddy-sea Alpha and, well, Oddy-sea generally, are perfectly nice, But the thing is, there's many, like the plants themselves are very detailed, very well modelled, like the atmospheres, the terrain looks great. But yeah, the whole sampling business, not just the actual sort of mini game interaction, but it just leaves kind of a lot to be desired, really. It's very basic, and it is very much a sort of synchronization thing, so it's it doesn't add that much in the way of gameplay to it, unfortunately. So, but yeah, I'm not quite sure what was intended when this was thought up, but yeah, it's not got people excited, put it that way. I mean, people like Obsidian Ant, who's usually, so would you say, super diplomatic, in his reply, as I said, is basically not good. And yeah, I try to be fairly balanced in my responses. So the thing is, like, I'm not gonna throw FDev under the bus just for the sake of it, because that's what a lot of people do. But no, I prefer to be sort of constructive and say what could be improved and what's good and what could be improved. There's a lot of good things about Oddy-sea, I can say that for sure. I've not really played the FPS part very heavily so far, I say, mainly because just being an explorer, I'm more inclined to go around looking for interesting things and places, as explorers are wont to do. But yeah, it's this is the thing. The frame rate seems quite variable, though. I say it's still not really optimized. I don't know how this is on the stream. It's not coming across brilliantly, I suspect, because it's not coming across amazingly well at the moment. The frames per second is not high, but yes, I don't know what the server load is like at the moment. This is the thing with alpha servers, particularly, or even beta ones, because those are not supposed to be the full game. So I wonder how what the load is. But having said that, it depends on your internet connections and a few other things, and the quality of your machine. But still, I can't complain. It's perfectly good, really. Yeah, just the overall sort of staying where something where I left off, really, in the sort of last stream. Yeah, it's these sort of atmospheric worlds are actually light atmospheric worlds are very good. This one has a like interesting sort of purple blue tint to it, rather than just the sort of pure sort of purpley ones. I think there's some thicker atmospheres elsewhere, but today I don't actually want to concentrate so much on the plants if I can. If I got interesting ones, yeah, fair enough. But what I'm going to do is return to the ship and do some more exploration related things, but within the limited 50 light year bubble that we have to go on within the alpha test. So the plan is this: I'm going to go looking for some lovely mountain ranges that are worth sort of landing on. I mean, these ones, here, let's have a look at these hills, and they are really hills, they're not really mountains, are they? I mean, these are nice sort of rolling hills. They're pretty good. They're not bad at all, but I want like full on like jagged mountain ranges, or at least big ones, you know, big sort of mountains that I can safely explore and test that aspect, because obviously this is the terrain is new in Odyssey compared to Horizons, the way it's generated. So I feel it is my duty to actually go off and investigate that aspect of it. I mean, probably on foot and with SRV as well. So far, I'm beginning to wonder how well the SRV will actually do under those circumstances. But there's only one way to find out, and that is to explore directly. How's everyone doing out there? Hope you're having a good day, morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you may be. Here in the UK, it's a fairly sort of nice bright day. It's quite pleasant, really. It's like a spring day kind of should be, like pleasantly warm, but you know, not oppressive or anything. Okay, back to the Oddy-sea. The continuing Odyssey of Odyssey. It is an Odyssey indeed. Surfing on the seas of space. I suppose I could theoretically like do more missions to upgrade this ship as well. Actually, I might have to refuel, so I don't have a fuel scoop on this, so I might have to do that at some point too. That might be the next best stop, actually. Or find a system that's inhabited, so that I can do that. I'll engage Super Cruise before doing anything else, though. Okay. I know some people have done lots of missions on purpose, deliberately, to see what kind of sophisticated ship that they can get. I mean, obviously, lots of other ships are open, but there's a lot of people like myself are sort of holding on until we can actually get our proper ships saved under the commander. Which is nice, so I can at least have access to the different types of ships. Not just my explorers, but like fighters and some of the larger ships as well. Even some freighters would be interesting, like the Type 9 that I own. Stuff like that, really. Just to sort of check different aspects of and different planetary landing sort of conditions. Because obviously, like, the auto land makes it possible to land in places that weren't really accessible before, or not easily accessible anyway. But that's the way it is. Okay. I think within this system there isn't a tremendous amount. There's some bits and pieces, but it's not. Yeah, I'll visit this station first before I do anything else. Why is it not holding it down? Being very weird. That's better. This is the thing about these sort of early release tests, the little bugs like that. It just didn't knock on for a second. It's always little things as well. Well, it's not always little things, is it? Aha. Yeah, and I'll just come out Super Cruise to test the sort of graphics on that one. But yeah, there's no specific effects on it. Just testing a theory of mine. But there's nothing that's really changed in that regard. No, I was wondering if there'd be more sort of graphical effects, you know, when you disengage Super Cruise. When you engage Super Cruise, there's still like a similar effects, obviously, to Horizons, though less bright. Disengaging, there's not really that much going on. Still, I mean, so that's the thing. That's the sort of trend, isn't it, with Horizons versus into Odyssey. That the Horizon tends to be brighter, and Odyssey tends to be more sort of subtle and more sort of dimly lit overall, which is fine, you know. It's not a problem. It's just different, and in some ways, it's kind of more realistic. The balance of brightness between different objects, between the different stars, planets, stations, anything really. Because some things I think were over bright probably in Horizons, unnecessarily so. Thank you to anyone out there who's actually watching because of the recent raid. that was cool, and I'm grateful to everyone for that. That was a really good day, actually. I didn't actually intend to stream for as long as I did, but I'm glad that I did. Sometimes it's funny how these things work out, but yeah, that was a really fun time. In future streams, I will no doubt have some other sort of commanders that I fly with on a sort of on and off, and we'll have some fun as well as the alpha test sort of progresses further with different ships and whatnot. Different options will open up, and we'll be able to do a lot more. Well, just pretty much of everything, I think. You know. It's funny seeing how small the trails are now from FSD. The light is just like these little objects rather than these sort of bright mini stars flying around the system. Yeah, it seems a bit more realistic. Why would a ship leave that much of a trail, you know? Well, I don't know. It's fictional technology, isn't it? Yeah. Right. Yeah, I should be introducing the old webcam technology in the near future. I'm just trying to find a place to actually put it up and get a little stand for it and everything, just so it doesn't fall down or anything in midstream. That would be somewhat embarrassing. And to have then sort of reconnect it or sit at the right angle again. Yeah. I'm sure there's a few embarrassing reels out there for people having various sort of failures in that regard, no doubt. But you try to minimise them. I know it's probably more fun for the audience than it is for the streamer, but you gotta laugh. You know, even when things go wrong, you gotta laugh. Where would we be without laughter? Nowhere is probably the answer to that. Still, I was thinking originally of actually putting some like Monty Python samples into this, but then I thought, well, there's the copyright issue, isn't there, as well? And I don't want to have like a whole stream or struck down or a warning given just for using like a 3-second sample or something. So, you know, that would be I don't know how common that is, but I don't want to run the risk of it. So I decided to leave it. But Monty Python's pretty much universally loved, so that would have been a good choice otherwise. It's interesting. I think under like the arrangement, obviously with Amazon Prime, because obviously Amazon do actually own Twitch, that you can show films and what have you, or anything on Amazon Prime as part of a sort of watch party. Does that mean you can show clips as well? I would have thought that you could. I'm going to say we're actually like a clip from Prime itself. I don't know how it works actually. I only had Prime for a short period of time and then I cancelled. I mean, I might have it again in the future, I don't know, but we will see. We will see. Sailing the seas of deep space again. There's obviously that question about what, especially for explorers, what Oddy-sea is going to bring, and kind of confirmed recently that, yeah, the community managers have been more than hinting that there's stuff, exploration-related stuff that's going to be in Oddy-sea, but it's not going to be in the alpha. It's only going to be there on the release version. So I'm wondering what that is, but I hope it's a nice surprise. Yeah. I think most people that I know who play Elite regularly have given a sort of cautious welcome to Oddy-sea. Obviously, there's sort of opinions either side there. Some people are sort of very happy with it. Some people kind of think, well, why should I bother buying that, you know? Having seen other people's like streams or videos. That's fair enough. I mean, over time that may change. Okay, I only wanted to refuel anyway, so okay, let's look to nearby systems and what goodies do lie within. I was seeing a streamer last night, who was actually like drinking, you know, various sort of cocktails and shots in the middle of the stream. I was thinking, that's interesting. I wonder, you know, how much it would sort of affect his streamer in the long run, because it was interesting, but I didn't hang around long enough to see what effect it would have. But, you know, I wonder how many streamers actually do that. Okay, the agony of choice. I don't think it really matters too much where I go. Yeah, let's click on a random system and see where it leads. Population 0 is a bit more of a viable exploration simulation. I mean, theoretically, the best places for sort of spectacular mountain ranges probably would be on an ice world or a rocky ice world. Somewhere around a red dwarf star, so, you know, yeah. Yeah, it's the new targeting thing I sometimes forget because I'm doing one thing in Horizons and then doing another thing in Oddy-sea, so yeah. I still play Horizons, obviously, so it's just standard because that's like the main elite anyway. There's no indication so far that, at least from the community managers, that this the whole full release of Oddy-sea is going to be put back at all. I mean, it might be, but say there's no indication as to yet, one way or the other. Ah, the beautiful sights of Witch Space. What's everyone up to today? I know some people do surreptitiously sort of watch streams either at work or at university or school or wherever they may be. I know there's a lot of people remote working these days, so it's easier to sort of, you know, do that kind of thing because obviously no one's watching your screen directly. As long as you get your work done, a lot of people will never know or don't care. Okay, what's in the system? Right, that's the core stars. Okay, do an FSS scan to see what goodies are here. Right, it's not much, but I'll scan what there is. Yeah, that sort of sweep effect's not as bad as it was. It's a bit better now. Aha. Yeah, there's not much in this system anyway, so I'll move on. Onward I go. Yeah, the FSS scan before, I think in phase 2, it was actually just had this ridiculous little marble effect where there'd be sort of a very kind of crude sweep across the screen, like a chain of marbles. And it was kind of off-putting, but that seems to have gone now. So I think that'll make people happy. Certainly makes me happy. But as always, folks, if you've got the Alpha Oddy-sea test as well, do report any bugs you find and give feedback to Frontier. That's the only way these things usually get fixed, if people mention it and show Frontier what's going on, really. It's one of the advantages of a public test, a beta or alpha test. It always helps the knowledge of the game. Okay. More scanning goodies. Well, that's a bit jerky. See the comms and info. They're kind of jerking around a little bit. That's not so nice. Slightly off-putting, actually. You move it very quickly. In that mode, it was jerky. Now, it isn't jerky in this zoomed-in mode. Yeah, on rocky ice. Well, I can land on that. Good question. The answer will be found out very quickly. And I cannot, which is a shame. Right, onward ho. I'm not talking about hose, and so like that's more of a sort of British, I don't know, country or hunting expression, I suppose. It's quite archaic, to be fair, so it's not really used much these days. It's like similar to like tally ho, something like it's kind of similar to that. Nothing to do with the ladies of the nine. Nothing at all. But you could use it as an insult and have it both ways. But, you know, it's entirely up to you. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but it's up to your discretion. Yeah, checking out these Class M red dwarfs is obviously a necessary part of scanning around for interesting body. I'm not finding very much at the moment in terms of landables. Just finding these sort of very boring systems. Let's pick on another place that doesn't seem to have a population. Yeah, let's go here. Onward. I think the alpha test is due to continue for at least another week and a bit, as far as the original timetable was laid out by Frontier. Obviously, I think they might extend it if necessary, but I have no idea if they're going to do that or not. I think the first window of opportunity for sort of the Phase 4 will come out in a couple of days, actually. I think it'll be Thursday, won't it? Only 2 bodies. That's not so much fun. Okay, it'd be nice if I could actually find something that wasn't just a barren system. Okay, it doesn't really matter so much if it's actually inhabited or not. I just wanted to like do more of a kind of pure test for exploration purposes. If I can find an interesting mountain range in an inhabited system, then so be it, you know. It's just a more accurate simulation of exploration run if I can do an FSS system scan. And then yeah, go to an individual planet, do the detailed scan there, and bingo. The whole webcam business does actually, it kind of interests me, but sort of I'm slightly reticent at the same time, not having really sort of done it in any sort of real sense before. I've always been like, you know, voice only and all my event organising, which you don't need to be on camera and that because, well, I wasn't a streamer, so there was no requirement for it. Okay, but 26 bodies, this sounds a bit more promising. Actually, this is almost certainly already been it's inhabited, it's already been scanned, doesn't it? So, yes. Yes, indeed. Okay. We are here. Here we are. Yeah, it doesn't even have to be a world filled with an atmosphere for the train generation test. I will click on a relatively nearby body if I can. Yeah. I'll do that, and then I'll check on that atmospheric one a bit later on. At the moment, I'm just looking for stimulation and interest, really, to sort of see what the new terrain types are like. Say, part of this is just out of me flying around out of just personal interest. The other bit is like with my explorer's hat on, looking for cool new places and just checking out, you know, what Oddy-sea will be in the long run for expeditions. If any of you worked on as expedition staff before, scouting is like a key part of that, and looking for good sites for an expedition to meet up is absolutely key. And to a degree, I'm almost like, going through the new terrain generation types, and almost like part of it is out of trying to work out what's what. Part of it is almost like training my brain to sort of interpret and spot things on the new terrain. Because after like many years of doing the same in Horizons, you get quite good at spotting like good sites. And yeah, to some degree, I'm kind of doing that in a casual way because this obviously isn't the full release yet, and I'm quite limited to where I can fly. But it is I'm still kind of assessing it in a way, but in a casual kind of way. Yeah, I've got my SRV with me, so at least I can do that. That would be helpful. Okay, this planet's about to get a probing. Sounds kind of rude, but it's not. Okay. Crispy Merchant, discovered by... good name. I approve of that. It's gone green. Everything's gone green. It's the song by New Order. It's really quite cool, actually, that one. Right. Greenness, here we are. Actually, I have to engage the other mode, don't I, to look at the greenery through the various filter types. I will do so now. Yeah, interesting signals type all. It's like there are differences. It's like, but it's kind of, well, it's not just subtle. It's almost non-existent. It's just like there's tiny, tiny variations there. Yeah, it's not the most obvious of systems, that is it. I mean, you say you can see subtle sort of variation. There's a sort of blue spot there. I suppose it's one of the variations we're looking for. I may go down there just to check it out, actually. Yeah, I might as well do that. Yeah, here we go. Where is it? Should show up on this as well, because I saw it a second ago. Oh, don't tell me it's disappeared. Naughty, naughty. Oh, damn it. So it was just like a sort of an after effect of the scan. Or a sort of bug, really. Maybe it's rotated around the other side of the planet. It's probably quite likely. It doesn't matter anyway, that's not what I'm looking for right now. And it's not relevant. Now, back to this mode. For these combat modes, always easy just to see stuff. Now, this is interesting. This surface is somewhat different from ones I've seen before in Odyssey. It is more varied in its colours and in its terrain to some degree. I'm wondering what the difference is. Is there an actual difference between this sort of pinkish section here on the right, as I'm coming up to, and the surrounding area? One way to find out. I expect there might not be, but it's worth checking out. getting sidetracked from my mountain excursion, but it'll be good to find out, I think, if there are any differences actually. Yeah. It'll probably get out of this mode in a second. As we start glide. Actually, that doesn't matter for now. An icy body. Good, good. Mottled terrain. Okay. Yeah, there's subtle terrain variations here. They weren't necessarily around in Horizons, but... See, these geological variations do look way more convincing. The sort of finer details. That sort of rock formation on top of the sort of pinky stuff in the background. Stuff like that, really. And the sort of more subtle folds in the terrain as well. Yeah, I don't intend to land anyway, so not quite yet anyway. I'm just flying along just to see what this whole area is like, really. I don't have any particular plans to land at this place. Now, I do wonder this has some volcanic activity on it. One thing I was trying to look up on the system scan. Right, here we are. Gravity is very low, 0.08. Tidally locked to the gas giant. Ah, water geysers. Huh. Yeah, I did wonder. Two geological locations, alright. Yeah, some of these are jagged looking. They're not very high, but they might prove sort of interesting places to navigate on foot or an SRV. Okay, active power source. Endo Analytics Lab. Maybe I'll go visit there. Haven't been to too many planetary bases. I've been some of them so far. Actually, this looks interesting. Is this a volcanic site, a volcanic rim? I'm just putting like conventional geographical explanations to various things in the game, whether they are or not is another matter. It's like other crater for volcanic activity, or is it an impact crater that's been sort of, you know, changed, weathered out over the years? Not by weather, but by micrometeorite impacts. Because it hasn't got an atmosphere, this world. Yeah, like the lighting is different because you see the shadows here are definitely more graded. They are in Horizons. Yeah. It's always a good tip for exploration. If you want to look at the surface when you're flying by, go onto the side, as long as it's a relatively low gravity world. If it's a high gravity world, I wouldn't recommend that at all, because you're just going to start plummeting. Even if you have the best thrusters in the world, you will start going down, just because of the nature of the mechanics of the game. Now I'm going roughly towards where I think the volcanic activity may have been, because it was somewhat blacker in its coloration. Yeah, I'm definitely liking the sort of greater range of colours within the same world. Beautiful, really. This is the thing, these are kind of Horizons type planets that have been remodelled, and this is probably a good example of that. I don't have a particular direct comparison, though I intend to make one as soon as I can. I go to the same coordinates on Horizons planet and do exactly the same thing here on the same one, and see what the terrain is like, what the differences are, similarities. Right, yeah, these are hills, these aren't really sort of mountain ranges, are they, by any stretch of the imagination? Okay. Back into Super Cruise I go. Should have really labelled this this particular stream, you know, sort of like, you know, mountain fun or falling down mountain fun. Because the stream I had recently with Commanders Trillic and Kit as well, both of those two guys who were in Horizons climbing up a mountain at Dow's Hope, which was much steeper than it looked. BSA, that was a Horizons body, not this. Okay, looking out for the mountain ranges. This looks a relatively flat world, though, to be honest. Just looking to the horizon in the near sort of distance, it does not look promising for any particular ranges. Yeah, I think I'm going to abandon this one and look elsewhere. See what else the system map can yield. Sometimes on the system map you can see bodies that are, should we say, more promising in terms of mountains and hills, but sometimes not. This is obviously key differences. Is an Oddy-sea, is that going to be a whole new sort of range of different? Oh, I see. I mean, there are slightly more hills here, but I don't know if they're mountains or just tall hills. See, they sort of subtly stick out from the surface. That looks okay. I'm saying it looks great. Try some of the other ones out of interest to see what stories they have to tell. That's the thing, everybody, literally everybody is in, like, you know, planet or moon or whatever, in real life and also in Elite, has its own little story to tell. Geology, micrometeorite impacts, the meteorite impacts, comets, things that have landed in their alien civilizations, human civilization, all good stuff. I'm wondering how accurate a lot of these system map models actually are for mountains particularly. Now, these look interesting. These sorts of different discoloured areas might be ranges. I will have to check that out. Yeah, this looks like a much better prospect. I'll go there. I don't know because I'm not sure how accurate the system map is in that regard. But it's worth investigating, I think. And welcome to the stream if you just joined me. I'm Commander Yannick, and hello to all you space fiends out there. Hope you're having a wonderful day, no matter what you might be doing. So where are you guys from then, in the world? It's always interesting to hear from people in different countries. Especially in countries there aren't that many commanders from. I mean, for example, obviously like most of the players do seem to come from either Europe or North America. It's always cool if you get people from like South America, from Russia, Thailand, etc, etc. Yeah, seeing the little FSD trails, almost like a miniature comet at the distance, but you realise it's not a comet. It's a little ship doing its thing. It's okay, guys. You can look if you want to. It's entirely up to you. It's cool to interact with people in chat, though. Aha, right, here we are. Now, what can we find out from a quick orbital inspection? This one is a little bit less colourful than the previous one. But that's not what I'm looking for right now. It's not colour that I'm after. Yeah, there's a few bases here. Yeah, again, this is looking relatively flat. There's some undulations, but I say there's nothing extensive. I thought I'd be able to see it probably from orbit. I think I can see some places that look like they're kind of raised up a little bit, but I say there's nothing extensive. Sort of manual orbiting, you've got to be quite careful about not falling down too much in altitude. I think you don't have sort of craters or sort of older craters that have been broken down over the years. Okay, don't want to go to the dark side. I want to stay within the light side of it. Yeah, there's no sort of rills on this one. The volcanic remains of volcanic lava flows. This is a relatively dull world, actually. And who knows, maybe there are interesting life forms on it, but they're saying I might look for life again later on, but at the moment it's not my prime concern. Right, okay system, show me what else you have. At least these are all landables by the looks. Is any one particularly of interest? See, what's the mass of this one? Yeah, it's pretty low. I expect any of these to be particularly like high mass worlds, but yeah. Yeah, I'm not near enough for that one to be scanned, I suppose. Okay, good question. See, let's go over to this one here. Unexplored still. Okay, cool. Another bot in the chat. Not particularly welcome. Yeah, it's the the whole shuttle thing with getting on the taxi service in Oddy-sea. I haven't actually managed to do that yet because it kept on crashing every time I booked a flight, and it was all a bit weird. I've not actually tried it since because something the lure of my own spacecraft. I thought I'm just going to use that instead. It's just so much more fun. But I'll try it again in the near future, not for the very long runs though, for a relatively small one, just for the experience. It looks okay. Obviously, if you just want to go somewhere without risking a ship, then that's fine. Obviously, there's the combat ones where you get dropped off by a vulture or similar combat ship. A drop ship, as they're calling it. Right, show us what you got. Yeah, some way out of the edges of the system, so the lights can be pretty low out here. Seem relatively poor. Maybe I should do a barrel roll or something. Just do a bit of a roll first. Haha. Okay, I'm gonna do the usual. Actually, do I have to scan this one? Probably not. I'll do the usual scan anyway, just for it's always good practice. Redwood Point. Interesting. You're an engineering site. Check out what the hell that is actually in orbit. Maybe it's a fleet carrier or something. I can see that definitely carriers are in this version of the game. Maybe it's a tourist beacon or something. I know not. I will discover though what it is after I have had a quick blast through this planet. Yeah, that's a lot better. C'est formidable. Yeah, okay. I've been seduced back into going to one of these areas with life is abundant. Let's go to this bluish one over here. Okay, let's do that then. Yeah, that bug seems to have been fixed now. They seems to be a lot easier to follow. The sort of scan zones. Now they stick out quite a lot. Before there was like tiny differences in the shades of green. It's like that's not easy to see. I don't even have any colour problems either. People who've got like colour blindness, they seem impossible to see those. But this is a lot better actually, yeah. Okay, entering glide. Yeah, this is interesting. Actually, I'm going to switch. Yeah. Switching modes. Okay, yeah, this has got that sort of slightly pixelated, or squarish sort of effect there. So as it will resolve as I get closer, but yeah, it's not so good. Yeah, it's the purple sky across this. These look a bit more dramatic, these sort of hillscapes here. Okay, maybe I should speed up a little bit. Kill two birds with one stone. Look for some life and look for some lovely mountains. These are not particularly high though, are they? I don't know what the highest peak is. Probably about 2 kilometers or something. No, it's less than that actually. Want some true mountains to test out this SRV. Come on. These are sort of moderate hills. Not really what I'm looking for. But then again, to be fair, I did come here for the life form detection. Yeah, so the gravity is 0.05 G. It's pretty low for an atmosphere bearing well, but yeah. Okay, there should be life forms around here too. What's the altitude of this peak? There's a gas giant up there, you can see in the distance. Very cool. It's about 1.4 kilometers high. Not massive. Worthy of a small SRV. Like again, considering how fragile the SRVs have become, how easy damage they are, it might actually provide a bit more of a challenge than before for a similarly high peak. Yeah, it's an interesting thought actually. Yeah, I'm literally not engaging the landing gear yet because I don't want it to land. Yeah, maybe that's the thing. It's even though the mountain isn't particularly high or the hill isn't very high, it's going to be a challenge to climb it because the SRV model seems to have changed. I don't know. One thing I understand about making it maybe more physically difficult to climb them, but it seems a bit weird making the SRV more fragile than it already is, which is pretty darn fragile. I don't know if people have noticed this as well, but it is a bit weird, just to say the least. Right, let's see what life forms there are here. I should be able to see some of them from the air, I would think. And this green thing, is that life form? Is that just the terrain? It's probably just the terrain, isn't it? This is a fungus of some kind, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I'm going quite low at the moment, so... shouldn't surprise me. Yeah, I'm looking for dramatic landscapes here. And again, it's going to be interesting what happens to the canyons of Pomesh. Yeah. Ooh, somebody's scanning me. test of authority. And he's bored already, and he's sodded off. Oh, there you go. I mean, what did you think I was doing anyway? Just flying over here, minding my own business. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna gain altitude again and resume my quest. As you do. I don't think I'll use Super Cruise Orbit at the moment. I might do it at some point, but it's not necessary yet. Plus the orbit's a bit higher than I want it to be. This is more of the level that I'm looking for. Okay. See, to a degree I'm scanning the horizon with my eyes. It's I'm also looking in almost the foreground at the same time. See, there's like a ridge down there, but is it that high? It's the relative height compared to surrounding terrain that I'm looking for. Even a canyon is very useful in that regard. Again, it's like not many canyons I've seen. I mean, like a lot of ice worlds have them, yeah, extensive canyons in Horizons, but I've not really seen any extensive canyons here, which surprises me. This is just very limited by the kind of worlds and terrain types in the alpha test so far. But yeah, there's been no extensively large mountains, and there's been no large canyons either, which I don't think they're going to be common, but I'd expect to find at least some of each. The mountain one particularly surprising because, well, yeah, the high G world, that's going to be flatter, but these are low G worlds. They should be a kind of much more undulating terrain than they actually are. Again, unless this is some kind of limitation of this, yeah, the alpha test is they're deliberately not giving the most dramatic terrain types on purpose. But it seems a bit strange, though, if they are limiting it to that degree. See, there's some ridges here that look like they might be good for racing. Assuming they are ridges and not just colorations in the surface. See, there's nothing that stands out on the horizon here, which does surprise you slightly. I mean, every now and then there should be something that stands out on the horizon. It's not that big a world, so yeah. Maybe I'm barking up the wrong tree here. I don't know. Maybe I should go into Super Cruise Assist and see what it yields. Might be easier on the eye. Right. Yeah, there's a few sites here. I forgot what Redwood Point was, wasn't there? I'll do that in a second. Yeah, I'm going to get into orbital cruise altitude. Well, the only few criticisms I have with Super Cruise Orbital Assist is the fact that you can't really adjust the orbit. You can't adjust like the apogee, the perigee, the highest point, the lowest point of the orbit, nor can you change like the height of it. You know, often that would be the apogee and perigee anyway. But you know, it would be nice to actually be able to manipulate it in some way. Not just have like a fixed orbital distance, which it seems to be. See that the terrain does look more interesting from this angle. Maybe I was looking at the wrong place. I'll let it do a few passes over the world before I make my decisions about where I'm going to go next. Yeah, as we pass into darkness around the far side. Oh, there's a sort of green patch there. Ah, cool. It's some algae or something. Yeah, maybe. Maybe that was some fungus or something. I don't know. So the green patch in the darkness did look interesting. Aha, the sun now rises. Current to the night-day Terminator line. As the sun rises over the surface. This altitude looks a lot more interesting than it does closer down. Actually, I'm going to get it out of Super Cruise Assist at the moment and then try manual again. Right. Okay now. Anything of interest? I think it looks unusual or stands out. Surface so far looks, well, looks interesting, but nothing really stands out. Just much of a muchness, really. If anyone sees anything particular, do give me a shout. I think it looks interesting. Or you just have questions about certain things. That's all cool. Especially exploration related ones. Because I tend to know what I'm doing there. Okay. So it's kind of grooves ahead here. I might look to what they are. Probably some kind of elevated terrain. Alright, this is a bit better actually. Now these don't look like full-on canyons, but they are sort of raised terrain, yeah. That's a bit weird. Terrain's not deciding what it wants to do with itself. It's getting a bit more like Horizons now. Oh, awesome. Yeah. Ooh, I like that bit. It's like a vertical drop there. This is a bit better, actually. This is more like it. Don't know how high it is, but height doesn't always equal good automatically, but it's nice if you can get it, you know. The higher, the more dramatic they tend to be. And part of what you're looking for is the drama of the scene. Or just the sheer coolness of the scene, you know. Okay. This drop here. Let's work out how big it is. May land on this actually. This looks like a good place to land. In a moment. I'll first do my thing. How big is that drop? Not as high as I'd have thought. Not even a kilometre. I thought it was like maybe 2 kilometres or something. Oh well. It looks nice enough though. What are the Thargoid bases going to look like in this? It's a good question actually, that one. What will the Thargoid bases look like? Yeah, I'm gonna put myself down here. If the guy falls off in his spacesuit, then fair enough. I think it's a he. I'm not even sure. I didn't look that closely at the Hollow Me. Just selected one and went and kept my normal commander name. Yeah, let's park here. Sounds like a good move to me. Okay, Autoland, you land over here. Actually, Autoland, can you land over here instead? Actually, I'd rather. Yep, that's it. That's what I want. Approximately. Somewhere around here would be nice. Don't land somewhere miles away, please. Cool. That's better. Much better. Okay. Thank you, Autoland. Right. To the surface I will go. It's taking a while, isn't it? Yeah, say the response time of the alpha doesn't seem particularly great, but again, it is an alpha, so I shouldn't be so surprised. Obviously, some of it does depend on like the draw speed of your GPU. Yeah, so far in terms of actual like RAM memory, the alpha isn't using an insane amount of it. It's actually relatively low compared to what I thought it was going to be, but obviously the GPU usage is actually very high. And the CPU usage is like... It does peak at certain times at relatively high use, but consistently, yeah, kind of moderate to high usage, depending on what CPU you've got, of course. But yeah, GPU usage is usually pretty high in like every version of this. Okay. Let's have a look around. Oh, I like this. Reminds me of being in the Austrian or French Alps. Those of you who've never been to such beautiful places, it's a great place to go. It's not as expensive as you think either, especially in France. That's one thing I will actually briefly point out, though it's not really anything to do with Elite. I think people would assume, kind of wrongly, that winter sports are for rich people. No. They're a lot more accessible than you think. Yeah, they're not necessarily cheap sports, but they're like not like exclusive to the rich sports. It's not like sort of motor racing. You've got to have like millions just to get into the sport at all. But yeah, it just reminded me of places in the mountains in Europe, and other parts of Europe. Ooh, that's a nice scene. Where the gas giant just hangs there in the sky. The temperature is what, 63 Kelvin? Yeah, that's pretty cold. Actually, the starlight here is brighter than I thought it was going to be at the edge of the system. Yeah, the Ice World modelling is definitely an improvement. This is very nice, especially this. They say the lighting is definitely an improvement on this terrain as well over Horizons. I'm the king of the world. Well, I'm the king of this particular world anyway. At least for now. Ah, that's wonderful. I'm just having a nice time walking around here. I suppose it is pretty realistic. What's the atmosphere here? What's the content of it? It's a question I will ask of the system map. System map, tell me your truth. What be this world? A very low pressure, yep, I knew that. Argon. 100% argon. So these purple atmospheres just all argon then? It says 3 biological locations on the world. Fair enough. Very bright shine. Yeah, the amount that the charge goes down on the suit obviously depends on what you're doing. If you're just walking around or not doing very much, it doesn't go down that quickly. I think the more you walk, the quicker it seems to go down as well. Slight break up in the graphics there. So you can jump really far on these low G worlds. Long jump competitions. That would be fun, actually. This is another question, actually, for explorers about events on that would be unique or to Odyssey, or even just not possible with Horizons because of no space legs. I'd like to. Yeah, there's definitely this sort of long jump one. Is definitely a possibility. You can jump quite far with this. Hello, if you just joined the stream, I am Commander Yannick, and hello to all you space fiends out there. What's new? What's going on? Where you are? Hope you're all staying safe and having a great time. I expect many people are going to be streaming this up a mountain somewhere. Well, you never know. It might be a mountain restaurant or something, I suppose, or maybe someone who got a good signal. If you're like a cable car operator, a lift operator, you might actually, if you had a good data signal, I don't see why you wouldn't be able to do that. Twitch is pretty data heavy, so as I found out, it's a good app on your phone, but it's a very data heavy one now. Ah, fun. Yeah. I think, being about an hour and a half-ish into the stream, this is an excellent place to take a break. And I will return to the stream in about 5 minutes' time. Good time to get some tea or do whatever you need to do. I'll be back shortly. I may continue on first. I just want to get back in so I don't waste any more energy. I don't want to die halfway through a break, so I'll board back on for now. But yeah, I'll see you guys in 5 minutes' time. And we're back in the room. Right, back on the ice world. Back on the fairly pretty ice world, I would say, actually. Go to the external camera to have a quick look around, beyond what I was already doing on foot. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah. So any apologies for the sort of the frame not being particularly great, but at the moment the alpha isn't actually, the frame rate isn't amazing for me. It's okay, but maybe not so much to demonstrate to other people as it is for me in person. But yeah, it's a nice world, I'd say. I haven't found what I'm looking for yet, but I'm going to keep on looking until I do. Oh, there's a ship over there. Let's have a look what this one is up to. Actually, probably nothing, really. It's unlikely to be anything. Oh well. I shouldn't be concerned. Looks like they've left anyway. Right, I think I'll return to a station and see if there's any improvement in this, because I'll probably show it on the stream here just for amusement's sake, because it's not great. At least you can have a laugh, you know. I was hoping the actual full game is more optimised than this when it comes to the stations. And the planets are passable, and most things about this are passable at the moment. Challenger. An enlightened challenger. Yeah, not that interesting really, but here we go. Flying away from him. Or them. Haha. Yeah, let's go to a station and see what's what. And buy any more odds and sods that can help me on my journey. Within this system, it's inhabited. There is a couple of orbital outposts. Refinery. Okay, let's just go here to see what's happening. Or should I progress to a... Actually, I'm going to go to an orbital station elsewhere. That's just more interesting to see the interiors of that. Right, let's go to a uninhabited system. What about this one over here? That doesn't look so big, actually. Let's switch mode here. I'm on the active missions at the moment, so it's all good. It's all good. Trade tools. Not quite what I was after. Okay. Oh, trade routes, right, fair enough. Yeah, I don't think that bothered by realistic mode, to be honest. But anyway, state, economy. Let's do economy. It's easier to work out what's what. So there's interesting local systems. Let's go there. Do I have a system map? Yeah, I do. We have been here before, yeah. Mechanic market. Yeah, let's go there. And welcome to anyone who's joined the stream. I'm Commander Yannick. Hello to you all space fans, you space fiends, I should say. How's it going to everyone in the chat? Hope you're having a good day wherever you may be, no matter what you're doing. Couple of jumps away. This whole period of the alpha test is also relatively quickly so far. I suppose once you get your spacecraft, it actually seems a lot more sort of free, as you're used to flying around in Elite generally with your own ship. Just like a natural freedom, really. I think that was the idea with Oddy-sea, is you would be able to play, in theory at least, completely on foot. But obviously that requires you to either get space taxis everywhere or be multi-crewed onto a friend's ship. Whereas you could even have private taxis that way, you know, someone offering services in a game to drop people off in different places. Say Commander going to Colonia, I don't see why not. That might actually become a thing quite quickly, I suppose. But it's always been interesting about the different forms of emergent gameplay that, you know, change when you've got these new DLC or major upgrades, particularly, because obviously new forms do emerge that weren't necessarily predicted by the developers or by most of the player base, actually, for that matter. The Elite community is nothing if not inventive. Very inventive for that matter. I would recommend to anyone who's never played Elite before to definitely grab it. I think the Horizons these days, the base game, incredibly cheap. I mean, especially with some of the deals you get out there. But you can pick it up for like probably less than £20, I think. I mean, $20 in some places, I reckon. But yeah, because the amount of hours of gameplay you get out of it, it's very, in terms of bang for your buck, Elite's one of the best games that's ever existed. I mean, for like, you know, less than $40 quite easily, even for like, you know, when it was at its relatively high prices, you could get, you know, thousands of hours of gameplay out of it. That's incredibly good value. It's just fun to have a spacecraft to fly around in at the most basic level. Obviously, there's going to be more to it than that, but it's even just that sort of, you know, feeling of freedom and flying around through beautiful space. I mean, it's worth it just for that alone. I think certainly the community is another factor into Elite that certainly keeps people here. I mean, I probably wouldn't have played as much if it wasn't for the community. I might still be playing potentially if it wasn't for the community being so great. I just wouldn't have put so many hours into it, I don't think, as I have done over the last few years. I just love space games generally anyway, so yeah, there's a good chance I would have played one way or the other, but definitely not the number of hours that I've done, 100% there. Ooh, a ringed Earth-like world. Approaching it from the dramatic side. It's a beautiful place, definitely. Orient myself to the Earth-like. Keep it in view as long as possible. Ah, that's lovely. It's taking a while, isn't it? Ah, here we go. Yeah, that transition could definitely be a lot smoother. It's unfortunately very jerky at the moment. But that's another one to put down on the list for improvement. I'm sure they're going to do that at some stage. Cool. This is agricultural system, I think. Yeah, I think it is. A few billion people in the god. I think when you got like these Earth-like worlds, you're more likely to have a large population of people. It doesn't always follow, but it's more likely to have that. I consider our own world has like 7 billion people already. Yeah, this is an agricultural system. Okay. Right, this could get very fun or particularly very embarrassing. To be fair, I mean, as I say, it's not that embarrassing for my system. As I say, I have beyond the minimum specs. So, this is what's being delivered to my computer that is not exactly optimized. Say the space stuff and planets is, yeah, it's not perfectly optimized, but it's a lot better optimized than the station-related stuff. Which I said before is like, especially at the sort of lower resolution levels, there's like, mostly low detail levels, is not the smoothest nor the most refined, shall we say. But it's nice. I mean, the fact that it exists is a step forward. I'm just hoping the final release is actually a lot more palatable. Yeah, it doesn't go so well on the stream with the things taking so long to load as they are. But okay, here we are. Looking back at the spacecraft, at the Cobra 3. Looking around the hangar, the various adverts. Orbis station. Yes, indeed. How many variations are going to be finally when this is, say, complete? Yep, I do want to go to the concourse. Thank you. And this isn't great, but it's better than it was when I in phase 1 particularly. Especially for on this, on this spec of machine. Like sort of green-looking interior, very literally. See, this is the point where I'm thinking, like, in terms of the detail and the actual sort of resolution. I mean, yeah, this is sort of, this would have been good about 20 years ago, and I'm not really exaggerating, unless there is like some major upgrade to the graphics and the smooth, etc. But It's just like, yeah, this would have been a very good level about 15 to 20 years ago. I'm pretty sure I played games with this level of sophistication 15 to 20 years ago. I start to sound old when I say that. I'm not that old, I'm really not. I've just been playing games for a long time, that's all. Not as long as some people, though. I mean, I was not someone who played the original Elite, put it that way, until like many, many years after its release. When Elite 2 and 3 had already come out by that point, so yeah. Haha. Right, here we are. I'm just looking around generally and showing the extent of everything. So this is not on anywhere near the high resolution settings, but that's the sad part of it, you know, it's... I mean, the frame rate is pretty basic, to say the least. But the internal designs and graphics are not that great. And the animation of the inhabitants of the station is pretty low, you know. As I say, this is not a minimum spec machine. This is like comfortably above the minimum spec, so that's why I'm surprised like how relatively sort of undetailed and kind of jerky that it is. So yeah, hello, my good man, or maybe not. So yeah, so have you been drinking all night long? Look at your eyes. Yes. Let me look at your stock, my good fellow. Hello, bad cops, bad cops. How's it going? Grossing up comestibles. Naturally, naturally. What does one do in a galley other than rustle up comestibles? Yeah, I've got the Artemis suit at the moment, so that's good. What weapons there are in the first place? Purchase weapons. I'll just buy a gun for the hell of it, just so that I can shoot up some random plants and things. Okay. Let's look at the different weapons. I have not looked at any of these in detail so far. So rocket launcher. Yeah, sounds promising. What's this? Automatic carbine. Short range. Yeah, maybe good for getaways, etc. Call it a weapon calmer, but depends how you look at that, doesn't it? Automatic rifle, solid all-rounder, good power and range. Yeah, sounds nice. These look pretty cool, I must admit. See the automatic pistol. Yeah. How much money do I have? 487,000. So I can buy one of these weapons quite reasonably. Laser rifle. Yeah, that sounds like... I quite like the look of that. It looks like some kind of sea creature that's about to attack. Beware its jaws. TK Eclipse. Another laser. Alright. Zenith. I know a Commander Zenith. He's a good guy. Like a moderately well known commander in Elite actually is Zenith, I think. Yeah, fair enough. Right, yeah, the pistol. So, what catches my eye the most? Now, this one, I think, does look rather good. So, DPS is 9. Okay, what's the other one that I was looking at? Was it this Karma rifle? Yeah, that's 9 as well. Good all-round, good power and range. Show that. AR-50. Or the Aphelion. Aphelion? Yeah. Oh, these went a bit weird there. Huh. Yeah. I think I like the look of this one the most. And if it's good all rounder, then that's fine. I'll just buy that. I have no idea really if it's going to be any good or not, but there's only one way to find out. Okay, weapons, suits, sell, upgrade, weapons. I wonder what I can do to upgrade a weapon here. I know that you can, but I never really looked into because I've really owned. I think even in like phase 1 I sold the gun that I had just to get some money to go around travelling. Okay, I can't do much anyway with this. It doesn't matter. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Now, purchase the comestibles. I mean, purchase the consumables. Okay, my good sir. Yes, I am looking for consumables. Preferably some salt and vinegar crisps. I've got some energy kits and cells already. Shield disruptor, E-breach. It sounds painful, the E-breach, I will say. I know it's supposed to be, but they don't sell it here, I don't think. Frag grenade. Maybe I'll buy something to see what they do. Unavailable here. Fair enough. I'm going to go to Anarchist to buy one or something. I don't know. Yeah, let's buy some of these frag grenades for fun. For fun. I don't know how many I'm going to need, so let's just buy... Let's buy 20. So it's a shield projector, our barrier, yeah, okay. Okay, I'll try that as well. Let's buy 10 of those. I think I might try a passenger mission as well, get some more money for this actually. And also buy 10 of these for shield disruptors because I might need them. There's I will try out the first person shooter element of the game at some point. Preparing myself for that. Okay, I need an E-breach I think anyway, sooner or later. Okay, thank you kind sir. Yeah, I might not bother with conversation. Well, at least not with him anyway. I might look to the mission boards. I don't have a data to sell on Vistagenomics anyway. I couldn't get that damn thing to work. Right, this is the bar area, I think. A lot of people are plotting the downfall of civilization itself. No, they're not, probably. But it's fun to say that. Yeah. This is probably not the best of stream material, but it's at least amusing, you know. Yeah, I don't care that this can provide. I just want to look out the window. Yeah, I just want to see what's going on out there. And that's all. Little cars going around are quite funny. You look up. See the interior of the station. In all its glory. Cool. Yeah. I might talk later to some of these people. Is there anything else I can actually maybe... Can I pinch these things? Or they're just cups left. I thought there might be something useful for a second. See, this is what surprised me slightly. Is like this is not a particularly sophisticated sort of FPS environment, or you know, just Space Legs environment. But yeah, it's not particularly sort of smooth or sophisticated. I understand like ultra detail levels yeah, it's going to be better. But still, it's like, even at this level, it should be better than this. It seems, yeah, I mean, I like the idea of different places to walk into and the interacting with people. That's good. But, you know, at this level, this is low and medium. I think a combination of graphic settings. But at this level, it's like, well, I bet it worked than not, but it's not as much attention to this has been put into the sort of core mechanics of space flight and landing, etc. I know they've had longer to get perfect those in Elite in various levels, but you know, considering they've both been working on Odyssey for 2 years already, it's surprising that it's not kind of more fluid than it actually is. I say it's not a complete disaster or anything, but it is a little bit underwhelming. Fingers crossed that will improve, but I think it really has to improve. Yeah. Bridging the stars for half a millennium. Cobra 3. Yeah. I like the sort of frosted glass there, that's quite cool. Yeah, this is why I probably won't do sort of FPS raids likely on stream, because that's going to be much worse than this in terms of detail and frame rates. I might try and sneak up on places without like doing a full battle or something. I don't know. I'll look into that, I think. I might try a trial run and then see how that goes before putting it on stream. Because I say this is you know, not great sort of viewing. It's tolerable, but more in a sort of comedy sense than anything else. Maybe I could go somewhere on Apex. Do they always use adders? Do they ever use anything else? You know, it does make me wonder. It's like it's a bit unimaginative. I mean, like even Ubers, they actually have in like, real life different cars. You know, it's just it's just a bit sort of one-dimensional in that regard. Doesn't have a verisimilitude to it. That sort of extra detail that convinces you that something is gives a kind of reality to it, or feeling of authenticity, verisimilitude. It's not a common English word, so the people who are not native English speakers, like, you know, don't expect to know that one. But if you can use it, you're very much impressed native speakers the fact you do know it. But yeah, it's cool. It's a good word. Mission providers, eh? You can steal that plant and run away with it. They probably can't, but good fun, good fun. Yep, I want to go to the hangar where my Cobra awaits me. It's all good fun, all fun of the fair. What do you mean cannot interact? I just did, didn't I? Too busy looking at the chat there for a moment. Okay. I do like these little details on the wall, the sort of rotating discs there. Maybe it's like a genetic scan or something. Yeah, that's cool. It's got like a bench there with random stuff on it. Can I actually interact with that? Maybe I can. sure I can interact with it actually. Which is a shame. It's just a bit of graphics that is uninteractable. Yeah, I keep going to the SRV sort of bay angle, which is usually the way in. But now it's this way in. Cool. Yeah, as always with these things, I tend to play the game kind of a little bit slower. Well, quite a bit slower often when I'm streaming it than I would by myself. Yeah, it's interesting. Let's have a quick look at the system map again. The system to load before I click on anything significant. Actually, there's a little sort of Mars-like world down there by the looks of it. Can't land on it, unfortunately, but it does look cool. There's no landable atmospherics in the system, which is a shame. There are landables, it's not atmospheric worlds, that's all. Which place looks the coolest to go to next? Maybe one of these ones. Worlds near a gas giant are usually quite fun, so yeah. System's going a bit sort of spastic at the moment. Shouldn't really say that actually, but somewhat derogatory to the to people with issues, I'm afraid. Apologies. Silicate vapor. Interesting. That's probably a good target, actually. Yeah, I'll go there. And then probably... I think I might wrap up the stream not long after I've arrived there. Because we've been going for about 2 hours now. Right, boost away. And the boosting we shall go. That's the ring over there. So. Very thin thread across the screen. Ah, yes, indeed. Here we go, across the ring. It's wonderful when you sort of race across the top of it like this. As the light reflects upon the different strands of the ring. Superb. Just superb. Never quite tire of things like that in Elite. There's these little moments that you see here and there. The sort of beauty of it. Even in the base game, there's a lot of that beauty to be had. Horizons, again, more layers of it. Odyssey, again, even more layers of it. So it's like an onion, a sort of a layering process, one upon the other, upon the other. Yeah, it's not too far away. 2,700 light seconds. Greetings to you if you just joined the stream. I am Commander Yannick, and this is the further Odyssey of Odyssey. Alpha test, of course. Testing a new world to be landed on, to be discovered, to be dissected, cut apart, and analysed. Well, that's the hope anyway. Or by electronic scans, of course. Actually crack over the planet would be quite interesting. Probably a bit excessive as well. Ooh, there's another ship over there. That's only a security service ship. How's everyone in the chat? What are you up to? Hope you're having a good one. Ooh, a gunship. And he is wanted. I'm not gonna go into combat with it because I don't have any weapons on board. Those pulse lasers they give you as default are not worth it. Yeah, heavy pulse lasers right up, but not class 1s. It's like a tattoo, basically, or a tattoo remover, I should say. Not good at all. Not good. I always get rid of them every time I get by any ship in Elite. One of the first things I do is strip it of its default class 1 mining lasers, because they were like worse than mining lasers for combat. Well, about the same as a mining laser for combat, except for you can't mine with them. So like, what's the point then? You know, so just a bit silly. You know, like, why would you do that? Ooh, these are pretty extensive rings. Actually, those are massive rings. Oh yeah, that's cool. Look at that. There's multicolored rings. Is that intentional, or is it a side effect of scanner or something? That's really good. I've never seen multicolored rings before. Ooh, very nice. You learn something new all the time. The cash on itself is pretty ordinary, but I like the rings. That's very nice. Yeah. Just approaching just to the outside of the ring here. But yeah, the moon is much closer to the ring edge than I thought it would be, but it's even more spectacular. Yeah, it's a refraction of the light that looks at the rings aren't actually that colour, but it was the way the light was sort of refracting off the surface of the rings. But yeah, it's still awesome though. It's a very, very nice. Hence the increased complexity and subtlety of the lighting model improvements. So yeah, stuff like that I think is worthwhile. See the difference in the ring density here as well. You can see the different levels of it. Time to discover what this has to offer me. Get a little bit closer before I use the probes. You're gonna get probed. Oh yeah. Here we go. Impact. Doesn't look there's much going on there. I'll get a bit closer to find out. I'm not expecting anything major in terms of life. I was just looking to see what there is, really. Irregular markers. Why am I talking like Jeremy Clarkson? A horticultural complex. Yeah, not really that interesting, actually. Let's look to the actual surface. Now, there's a sort of valley over there that looks like it might be interesting. To the left. There's one like to the bottom there near the Night Day Terminator. That looked cool as well. Actually, it looks like an actual canyon there. I'm going to go there. I'll see what the canyon modeling's like now. Hope it's a bloody canyon. Am I allowed to say that? I suppose it's not mature, is it? I suppose I should leave off that kind of language. Wherever possible. Yeah, that's better. That looks like a nice canyon. Let's go to the other side of the canyon and then go towards the left. Or should I be precise as I can when I'm looking for something specific, like this? Otherwise, fairly ordinary looking world. How deep this canyon is, or is it just a trick of the light? There's some depth to it, but then I'm going to say until I'm actually close enough I won't be able to know. I'm about to enter glide anyway. Go to the further side of the canyon. So I can go canyon cruising. What's it doing? Why is it gone there? I did not do anything. I literally didn't touch a button. And it went into some kind of weird mode switch. How strange. But anyway, here I am. Okay. Use the external camera to make it just easier to work this out. Ooh, that's a nice view. Crater nearby. So the canyon is kind of run from the right hand side of me. Across that kind of crater lip there. Yeah, I'll have to go across the other side and continue onwards. think so. As always with these things, best to make sure to double check that you are where you think you are, relatively speaking. As always, everything in space, it's all relative, people. It was relative to something. Some security and quite nosy in these. So we are in the middle of the bubble, it's true, so I shouldn't be surprised, but yeah. Okay, here we go. Over the lip of the crater. Be careful when you're boosting, not to boost when you're like your nose is too far down, it'll just boost into the ground. Okay, I'm like 2 kilometers up at the moment, so that's not that likely. Okay, this is not a particularly steep canyon. It's barely even a canyon at all, actually. Yeah, this looks more of a trick of the light than anything else. Nice gas giant in the background, though. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's not much for a canyon cruise, but... One human, 3 geological features upon this world. Yeah, it's a shame they don't actually show up in the nav panel, as they once did. Yeah. And I understand if they're like visually on the analysis map, but notice they could have showed up in both places. I thought it was just too easy to navigate to them. Again, they don't take you to the epicenter of a phenomenon. Yeah, this is barely a canyon at all, actually. It just looks like it's more of an optical illusion than anything else. There is a slight depression in the ground, but it's nothing extensive. Oh, nice crater over here, though. Yeah, we'll see. I think in some ways the scenery is just kind of more pretty than anything else. When you've got gas giants angled at that way to the edge of the ring, that's always a very good backdrop to have, wherever you possibly can find it. Yeah, the capacitor on this the engine here is not particularly high. Then again, it's completely unengineered, so I should not be surprised. You know, I'm just so used to flying engineered ships with like quite a considerable boost. Or if it has like a one-off sort of boost like this, when I say one-off, one that takes ages to replenish, it tends to be a sort of an explorer that's been sort of modded out in a way that you only really get one boost, because that's like, you know, the emergency save, as it were. If you're ever descending too quickly to a world, that can actually save you from being scattered into 1,000 pieces across the surface. Yeah, there's a few interesting craters here, but yeah, for a canyon, it's pretty low-key. Pretty bad, actually, for a canyon. I wouldn't say it was completely rubbish, but it's not great. General scenery? Yeah, 6 out of 10. Canyon? 2 out of 10. For canyons. Like you said, well, in terms of Oddy-sea, I don't really know, because there's only a limited number of planets we can visit within the 50 light-year bubble. Maybe this Thursday things will change. Okay, what do we have here? The break in the terrain. So it reports to be the canyon is kind of probably coming to an end anyway. So the shadow could just continue a little bit off to the right. But I'll follow that a little bit further. Oh dear. Yeah, I think I'm going to park the spacecraft over here, probably to the left. Get that sort of nice image with the gas giant in the background. Really smooth terrain up here. Actually, I'm going to park myself here. Makes the most sense. Get the old gear out in a moment. And let the Autolander do its thing. It's actually a better system than I thought it was going to be, the Autoland. I thought it would be a bit pernickety like the landing computer before it, but it seems to be relatively efficient at finding spots. Okay, this is a very smooth surface, so it's dead easy. Even the normal landing computer isn't that picky about these kind of spots. 9 times out of 10. But yeah, I like that image. That's a nice, it's definitely a nice shot. Yeah, I worked out what those little comic flashes were, and it's the external lights on the ship. Initially I was going through Super Cruise thinking, oh, what's that red flash for? Not thinking that, oh, it's like similar to aircraft lights, it's identification light. I was thinking, yeah, it's like, why would it be flashing? It was like, is it a malfunction? Is it supposed to be some kind of space phenomenon I'm not aware of? But then it's like, no, it's a much more mundane explanation to it. And that was simply that it was a light on the ship, which had not really been that prominent, really, if at all, during Horizon, so... Get the angulation right. Now that is a nice picture. Very nice indeed. And here I will leave it for today from this beautiful location in Elite Dangerous Odyssey Alpha Test Phase 3. Tomorrow I will return to doing Elite. I haven't actually decided what I'm going to continue with Odyssey or with Horizons. Thing is, if there's, as always with Odyssey, if there's an update in the meantime, you know, because there regularly are, I might have a go to see if there's any more, obviously, sort of changes to the game, but otherwise I may do Horizons, obviously, because there's just more options in that as well. But it's always interesting to check out the new content wherever possible in Odyssey. And yeah, to see what things have been changed and what things are still in the process of evolution, things that need work on as well. But thank you to everyone who has been here today. Thank you everyone who's appeared in the chat. Thank you for your interaction with me. It makes me happy. And thank you for everybody who's watched the stream since the beginning, no matter how late you came or how early you are. Thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful day. And I will see you in the next one.